Hi, I'm Toni Swinehart with MCP's Full Court Press, brought to you by Spectrum Health, Ludington Hospital's Orthopedics, as well as House of Flavors Incorporated. Today we are at the Riverside Park in south of Scottville, here in Mason County. We're with Joan Young, who has taken an avid interest in hiking and learning about a lot of the trails throughout the county. Thank you so much, Joan, for being with us today and taking time out of your day.
Well, thank you for having me, because trails are my passion.
That's right. And so how did you get into the hiking and getting into, like, how did it become a passion of yours to get these trails going?
Well, I was a very active outdoor child in Girl Scouts and camping and backpacking and canoeing trips, overnight canoeing trips, but that was a long time ago, right? and then we moved here, and my kids aren't real hikers, and so it kind of just went by the wayside for a number of years.
Okay.
But when they grew up, my best friend and I, she still lives in New York State where I grew up. We knew each other from Scouts. We said, well, let's get out our old equipment, what we have left, and take a little hike and see if we still like this.
Right.
So we did. We took a 3-day backpacking trip with a bunch of garbage equipment. Because, you know, we didn't want to put a lot of resources into it yet.
Right.
So we finished that 3-day trip and looked at each other and said, yeah, we want to do more of this. So by then I had discovered the North Country Trail. North Country National Scenic Trail, which goes from Vermont to North Dakota. It's 4,600 miles. It's the longest national scenic trail. And a piece of that actually goes through Mason County.
Oh, really?
Yep. It hits the northeast corner of the county. From Tyndall Road, it angles across to Riverside Drive, which is the boundary with Manistee County. Pretty much we have to cross the Little Manistee River on 9 Mile Bridge, which is actually in Manistee County, but it's just right over the border.
I gotcha.
So I was like, oh my gosh, it's right in my own county.
Right.
And so we started hiking little pieces of that over the next few years, and about 3 years into that, we were actually in North Dakota, being interviewed for a little newspaper there, and we were sitting in a ditch in the grass with the ticks, and this reporter said, because there weren't benches, you know, you're sitting on the grass, right? She said, well, what is your interest? What is your goal with the North Country Trail? And I said, I want to hike it all. So that was kind of the beginning.
Right.
And then I was the first woman to hike the whole trail.
Oh, wow.
I finished that in 2010.
Okay.
But meanwhile, I had also started a website called getoffthecouch.info. Which has information about local trails and boat launches, places to do, and bicycle trails, the disc golf courses, places to do non-motorized recreation in Mason, Lake, Oceana, and Manistee counties.
Oh, wonderful.
Yep. So it's not 100% complete, but there's an awful lot of stuff on there. So I don't know. I'm just nuts about trails.
Right. So what is your vision being here at the Riverside Park? There's already a trail here, but there are parts of it that need to be refurbished or need to be cleaned up. So what's your vision for that?
Okay, well, I understand. I don't know what year, but I understand that Bruce Krieger was the one who created this trail originally. It's always, well, when my kids were growing up, I wasn't doing much hiking because we were doing other things.
Right.
But it's been here for, gosh, at least 30 years,
right?
You know.
Okay.
And it was a loop about a mile, a little over a mile and a half, that goes right through here where we're doing this interview, and goes around through the old Engine Club and then over to the riverbank, and comes back in a loop to the parking area. But there was a bridge back on the back side of this that was your only way to get across from the trail at one point out to the riverbank.
Okay.
And that bridge washed out at least 7 years ago.
Okay.
So it's been very, you had to get wet to
Right.
walk the whole loop. And then there's another small section that has completely, some wind probably took down a few large trees, and then some
Okay.
small stuff has gotten tangled in that, and that needs, it's short, but that is going to need some major work to clean up. But I guess what got me excited about this again is the water's very low this spring.
Right. Okay.
So about a month ago, I came out here and decided I was going to try to do the whole loop because I thought there was a good chance I could get through. And I had to cross on some stones back on the other side where a bridge used to be, but I did manage to get all the way around the loop.
Okay.
And I contacted Rob Alway,
Okay.
who got me in touch with the City Commission.
Okay.
And then they allowed me to give a little presentation about the condition of the trail, and they seemed pretty excited about restoring it. So here we are.
So here. So what are some of your, I know, like, when you hike a lot, what do you, depending on the length of your hike, like let's say you're going on a pretty extensive hike, what are some necessities that, like if somebody were to go and is familiar with a certain area and they wanted to do an extensive hike, what types of necessities would you bring with you other than water for sure?
Well, there's a short list of essentials you should have with you, whether you're going out for an hour or a month. Okay.
Right. Okay.
But I mean, you should definitely tell someone your plans. You need to have water. You need to have a jacket. You need to be prepared. My personal feeling is you should be prepared to stay out for one night, just in case something happens.
Okay.
I mean, in these days, if you're going to walk here, bring your cell phone because there's service.
Right.
But you may not have service everywhere you go,
Exactly.
even close to home in the Manistee National Forest.
Right.
So a cell phone is, and other electronics are nice to have, but they may not offer you the ability to get help as the way people think. Okay.
Right. Right.
So. I have a little pack I carry with a space blanket and a lighter, and just so that you could, if you had a real emergency, you could stay out for 24 hours without dying.
Right.
Basically.
But yes, of dehydration
a snack and water, and
Right.
Always take a jacket, even if it's 80.
Yes, because you never know.
You never know.
Especially in Michigan, the temperature can drop any time.
Yeah, like this week.
Yes.
Wear shoes, and I'm going to stop right there because the number of people hiking in flip-flops and clogs is crazy.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's nuts, especially...
I couldn't imagine wanting to go for a walk in anything other than like a comfortable pair of walking shoes.
Right.
Tennis shoes.
Well, that's, and that is a fine piece of footwear for a day hike. And
Right.
even, they make things called trail runners now that have more support. I wear those for long hikes even.
Okay.
What's important is to get something that's comfortable on your feet,
Right.
but will offer you some protection.
Right.
So, yeah.
And so going forward, you've already talked to the commission. Do you have a ballpark idea of, are you still waiting to hear? Now, because you have a website, do you also have people that are interested in helping and volunteering?
Well, the Mason County Press ran an article about the program I gave to the commissioners, and I'm already hearing back from trail friends of mine who aren't necessarily from Scottville,
Okay.
who are saying, oh, count me in to help, okay?
Okay.
So basically what the city needs to do is just get a basic plan if their goal is to maybe for this year restore part of the loop and next year work on the back part that's going to take more work, or if they really want to press forward on it and do it all in one summer. I mean, as the amount of trail work goes, it's a mile and a half. It could all
Okay.
be done this summer if
Right.
things got moving quickly, but people think people don't realize what goes into making a trail appear on the ground. They think,
Right.
oh, it just got walked and there it is, and we'll just go walk it.
And there's a lot more to it than that.
There is. The layers of work and administration and politics behind, particularly on a national scenic trail, which I now know about and I never did before, is amazing, the amount of work you have to do ahead of time.
Okay.
So I don't want to commit the city to a timeline here, but I think fairly soon we can get some volunteers out here and get a portion of the trail reestablished. But I can't predict how quickly the more difficult parts to clean up will happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and living just outside of Scottville, just like not even a full mile past Reinberg Street, actually, it would be nice to be able, not only, I mean, I love going out to the state park, don't get me wrong, and they have a lot of different trails, but it would be nice to be able to come down very close to home and have my kids come and hike through here. I mean, this is actually really beautiful back here.
It is.
And it would be nice to have something, and even people that live maybe further out, like in Walhalla and Branch area, they, I'm sure, have their own trails in places out there, but it would be nice for them to have to come here and not all the way out to the state park as well. You know, to have something in between.
Well, I don't live in the city of Scottville, but like you, I'm close. I'm only a mile away, and this was, for years, this was my go-to trail if I just needed something to hike in the afternoon that was close.
Right.
So it was, I could hike it in 35 minutes, and I got to go somewhere that wasn't a road walk or just in my back field.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is okay, but
still, but it's nice to have the nature around you and be able to have a beautiful walk while you're walking.
Right.
It makes it interesting.
And walking by the river it's never the same.
No.
You know, I loved walking by the water. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. All right, wonderful. So you're going to continue this journey. And what was the website again that you had?
Getoffthecouch.info.
Oh, getoffthecouch.info. Wonderful. So hopefully people will look at that and just get out and about. And especially, you know, this last year and starting into, 2020 and then into 2021 even, you've seen a lot more people get out and do things because of COVID.
Yep.
And it's hard to be cooped up for some people, I'm sure. So this would be something fun for everybody to do.
Right. Well, outdoor activities have been very safe, even when we didn't know a lot about COVID. They were saying it's pretty safe to go outside and recreate, and we've seen a lot more people out on the North Country Trail, and I know other places have too. So yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Joan.
Thank you.
And if you need help, I want to help at least in some capacity, because I'd be able to utilize it then too.
We've got a ton of volunteers. We got to get a little more organized before we're quite ready.
Okay. All right. And for more news, go to MasonCountyPress.com.